Check one two. Check 1 2. Here we go. Check 1 2. Hold on. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Can you guys hear us now? We have our early birds in the building. I just want to check. What up, chat? Yo.
Okay, text me the email if you can. My bad, guys.
Ain't working. Check. Yeah. Just want to make sure we're good to go.
Damn, I got high as fuck.
Weird.
Who does the beats for a lot of your tracks? Zero, they've always had like a dope sound.
This one?
Like, particular kind of style.
Do you know Anthro? Anthro, he did beats for like for a lot of the like Reverie.
Damn, those are sick shoes. Reverie, I love. Oh, okay, that's cool.
And Vu, I produced all of it.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Anything is one of a million paths. Un camino entre cantidades de caminos. Therefore, you must always keep in mind that a path is only a path. To have such clarity, you must lead a disciplined life. Only then will you know that any path is only a path.
I'm a warrior from the future, looking at the past, living each moment through life's hourglass. I hold on to nothing, but enjoy everything. I spiral in and out of the Milky Way sacred ring. I carry the blood of my Tata Pancho Villa, y con mi corazón, sueño noche y día. I fly with the eagles and roam with buffaloes. I ride the winds of time, shoot thunderbolt arrows. Aim them at your heart with the masterpiece of art. Look into your mirror, that's where it all starts. The pain of generations is deep within my soul. I burn my white sage in my abalone bowl, and I bless myself, send my prayer to the sky. I never ask why, I never complain. The way of a warrior is to always stay sane. Do away with fear so your mind stays clear. Then you deal with power, but treat her like a flower. Her poison will devour and eat up all your soul. From your own greed, that time starts to feed. No one can escape man's true fate. No one has the power to tell death to wait.
Both paths lead nowhere. But one has a heart, the other doesn't. One makes for a joyful journey as long as you
Come look at yourself in the mirror, say. Thought if I came and looked at this, I might find my way back, you know. Trying to survive in a fucking war zone. But what I know now, bro, is that I need my familia to do it. Cause we're from East Los, ese.
As the day dissolves and the night appears, I'm walking through the pitch black, fighting my fears. The stupid mistakes that the ego makes. You think you know it all, like who were the fakes and who were the snakes? You're riding so fast, you better push them brakes. Tangled up and confused, overworked and abused. Feels like life has no meaning and I'm being used. Fuck your spreadsheets, fuck your red meats, fuck dying for peace. Killing for power only makes a cycle repeat in a negative way. And ignoring the problem doesn't make it go away. This dream state cultivates fear and hate. A nightmare we create when we eat the bait and feast on the lies, the corporate political ties, the innocent cries. I feel the sunrise, my people sleep with open eyes.
Every night I have dreams of you, and every night I awake and I know you're gone. It's true, you're gone.
And I just can't seem to give up. I chase after the sun every time I wake up. Feel my connection with everything and everyone. My intention never bends for anything or anyone. The creator of my own dimension. And in this world, these are my own creations. Happiness and love, abundance from above. My spirit fits like my body, like a hand in glove. The natural flow of the universe, a never-ending waterfall from sky to earth. Filling up the oceans, filling up the planet. You can't break her, she's made of granite and a thick upper crust. The heavens made the earth and in the earth I trust. I never give up, just adapt and adjust. Sit back and combust and walk the path of love and trust.
Every night I have dreams of you, and every night I awake and I know you're gone. It's true, you're gone.
What, you think you got so much fun? Nuestro sol se ha ido. Nuestro sol se ha ocultado y nos ha dejado sumidos en las sombras. Pero sabemos que volverá a salir.
I travel through the Aztec calendar ages. I speak the tongue of mystic sages. Escaped all your prisons and all of your cages. I live the evolution of human stages. From hunter-gatherer to great mathematician, I built the pyramids in complex position underneath the heavens. I left a map of stars, follow the red road. It isn't that hard, it just takes all of your will and the warrior skill. Never to spill the sacred blood that fills and courses through my veins. I carried all of the pain, I carried the heavy chain of a conquered people. For 500 years we have never been equal. Deported immigrant in my own land, neglected orphan who don't understand why their mom and dad hasn't come home for days. Hungry and alone, left in the days. Put your hand over your heart and repeat after me. This is starting to look like Nazi Germany. Murdering the peaceful with police brutality. And the racist Congress passes bills against the poor. Silent weapons for silent wars. But my heart stays pure and my love endures. With my mato Nancy, I will find a cure. With my grandpa Tatawari, my intentions stay strong. And my soul belongs to the line of stars. Deep in the Milky Way, in the Nipi I pray for the warriors of heart to come and take away. With this verse I'll slay the animals of prey. The Atlas Chinoli sun has come our way. Lead your family to a brand new day. Lead your family to a brand new day.
Dejaron para nosotros nuestros venerables abuelos. Y con ese mismo cariño y empeño, hemos de inculcárselo a nuestros hijos para que ellos lo enseñen a los hijos de sus hijos de sus hijos. Y no olvidemos decirles y enseñarles. ¿Cómo será? ¿Cómo se reunirá? ¿Cómo tomará fuerza? ¿Y cómo concluirá nuestra gloriosa náhuatl su grandioso destino? Nuestro sol se ha ido. Nuestro sol se ha ocultado y nos ha dejado sumidos en las sombras. Pero sabemos que volverá a salir.
Yo, I still trip
Yo,
out
yo,
on
yo.
how dope those beats are. LA Natives Podcast, Las Aslan Natives Podcast, man.
Those were Anthro. That was Anthro beats. That's he produced for like Fora. He was homies with Escupe. It's crazy how I know all these kids. But
it just you that sound. It's just that vintage, legendary underground hip hop shit, right? Defy.
Yeah, that's fire. I thought that was new. Sounded
no, dude, it's like that was like 8 years old.
That new Zero.
No, well, it's kind of a mixtape that I didn't like put like a lot of promotion behind. I just kind of released it on Bandcamp and put a lot of focus on the podcast. But anyways, let's welcome in one of my coolest homies. I met him a long time ago at the Gathering of the Nations. He's one of the dopest MCs, one of the nicest guys I've met. Humble, and really dope MC. I want to welcome Defy from New Mexico, the Dene. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, hey, I'm doing well. Peace. What's up, man? Honored to be a guest out here. There's also be a big shout out to Underground Hip Hop Blog. Just got
Yes.
done doing a mic session.
Yeah. So shout out to the Underground Hip Hop Blog. Shout out to Armando.
Good to be on your show too.
Hey, bro.
Shout
I
out
mean,
to LA Natives.
absolutely. Shout out. Because we're all one tribe on Turtle Island.
That's
I
right.
think that's what we're trying to create here. We're trying to create like when you come into LA, like you're expected to come to the house and eat. You know what I mean? And share with the community who you are, what you do.
Well, when it comes to indigenous hip hop, like artists have the voice to influence the youth, right? Defy, like
Yeah.
it's either you're listening to that garbage that's on the radio, or you're listening to cats like Defy and Zero, Natani Means, and others that are like, awakening the youth. Jesus, it's like a responsibility at this point, right?
Yeah, I think it's our duty as MCs to carry on the storytelling experience. So, I think KRS-One might have said it once in an interview where he was like, or he might have said it in a video about playing your songs back and being able for your tracks to play in front of your mother. And how would your mother feel about
Yeah.
rocking what you're saying as a MC? And if your mom isn't proud of you, then you're going to be ashamed. I'm always going to be a mama's boy because I come from a matrilineal culture as a
Yeah.
artist. So we got to honor the mothers, and it took me a while to learn and grow as an artist. But I mean, he's right. As an MC, I think there's a lot of hip hop is for the youth. It speaks to the youth. The youth, are the next generation of hip hop practitioners leading the way. So it's our duty responsibility, I guess, to at least hold it down and do the best we can so that they could like take it to the next level. I don't know. I'm not saying it the right way, but
No, you're saying it perfectly,
Shit's-
brother. Because you know what? This I want to introduce the other brother. Brother, I forgot your name.
My name's Randy Boogie.
Randy Boogie. I've known this brother. He's so familiar to me. But around the times when Keith was around, which is Keith IMC, he's from Oklahoma. But I saw these two brothers. They came to do a mic session. They weren't in a rush, and I said, "Man, you guys got to sit down and chill out with LA Natives podcast, get some cross branding going because these are very amazing artists, and they do amazing events in their hometowns." And he does an event called Gathering of the MCs. It's always on fire. It's always lit, and from what I see on social media, since he hasn't invited. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you were invited right
Yeah.
now. Remember, like you're definitely always been invited. I think you did the second year.
Yes, I
right?
did.
So,
I did. No.
Now-
I played
now-
that show
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, when it comes to indigenous hip hop, Defy, like, there's shit that's dope, and then like how I say it, like, similar to Christian hip hop, or it's too preachy. Like indigenous artists are too preachy with the whole being indigenous and shit, and to me, that's corny as fuck. Like your music is straight up hip hop, you know, but it has the foundation and all the elements of indigenous.
And we got to
Being
remember
native.
that
Foundation,
You know
Armando.
what I'm saying?
That was a key word right there. The foundation. That's cool, man. That you
Right?
acknowledge that because
Because when I listen to your shit, like it's not too preachy. When it comes to a certain segment of hip hop, like there's indigenous hip hop, there's death rap, there's Christian hip hop, there's fucking, emo rap and trill rap, all kinds of fucking branches of hip hop nowadays, right?
it's amazing, man, how far hip hop has came in subcultures of rap, man.
Mm-hmm. And even the new
all kind of
generation,
different
like
styles, yeah.
like the different, like the new generation, like the ones that are getting success, like Snotty Nose Res Kids from Canada, Dreezus, now Dakota Bear is doing some good things.
But Defy's on that level, bro. Like, when
Oh
it comes
yeah,
to his lyricism,
he's just
and
from New Mexico.
storytelling
You know,
and shit. Like,
and that's not a
Mexico,
bad
yeah.
thing. It's just that Canada
you're
gives
part
resources.
of that cloth. Like when someone asks me,
Thanks,
"Yo,
man.
do you know of any indigenous hip hop artists?" Like, bro, you're on the list, bro.
Thank you, bro.
What
Right,
I mean,
Zero?
what I mean is that look, when I went to New Mexico, I know that those reservations, they're not the wealthiest reservations, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a way that we need to pay attention to, because these people are very beautiful people. When I went on the Peace and Dignity run and I went in through Dene country or Dene land, I was welcomed, I was fed, I was treated like one of the family. And that was a beautiful res experience. That made me feel like, man, I had a home. And that's the way I feel when like you invited me to play Gathering of the Nations the first couple of years. It was like when I got there, it was like we didn't know each other too well, but you had enough faith that it was like, okay, there's a stage, bro. Let's go, and we did our thing, and we were able to go and experience all the nations, all the different tribes gathering during that time, because it's during the time of the Gathering of the Nations, right? So your event's called the Gathering of the MCs. It was just a profound experience being from East Los Angeles, finding my indigeneity, and now having the courage enough to go to other natives and go, okay, I'm a part of this circle here. I can't show you my reservation, but you guys didn't even ask for that. You're just kind of, come on, dude, what's up? Share. What do you got to share? What are we doing here? And that's what I love about indigenous culture, is that we share our talents, we share our food, we share our stories, we share our territories. So, I mean, shout out to the Tongwas, to the Quiche, to the Shumash. We always have to land acknowledge, just out of respect. I have to learn my lesson with, just being a person of what they call influence and having a podcast that's consistent.
Shout out to the Mexica community.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was about to say the Mexica.
Yeah, absolutely. We're one of the biggest communities because we're the orphans.
Mexican people. So that's our shout out to the Mexica. He's right.
Right. I mean, New
The
Mexico,
whole
that whole
family,
area right
everybody,
there
yeah.
is kind of like the motherland of
tribes.
us, all of ours.
And when it comes to the gathering of the MCs, bro, me as a concert organizer myself, bro, it's not easy to do, bro. Especially being the head of the snake,
Yeah, that's
right?
a lot of
Like you
a lot
don't
of
have to do this, right?
responsibility.
Like Defy, you don't have to do the fucking event. See, that's what's crazy about throwing shows. Like you don't have to provide it for the fucking community. Fuck it. But you do it because you fill a void. And then you've been consistent with it for fucking, I don't know how long, right, Zero?
It's like
13.
13 years. Would have been 15, I think by now, 16.
Oh, because of COVID?
Yeah,
they stopped
that
that.
whole
Huh?
era, yeah.
I got it. Wow. Well,
But thanks. Yeah, it does take a lot sometimes just to wear different hats, to run around,
Right.
totally
And we're
right,
doing
just-
we're doing a yearly festival. We're in this is going to be, I think, year 4. If we can put it all together, and we have to bring you out. I'm already saying it on Alienated. So we'll bring you out for Indigenous Peoples Day, which we do in October. And hopefully we'll get some good funding for that. And be able to accommodate people that are out of town, and show them respect, give them space. Because once the tribes of Turtle Island start to recognize each other, host each other in their own territories, then we can start to become a community and know how to interact with other communities. Because obviously New Mexico community isn't the same as Los Angeles community. Los Angeles community isn't, the diversity of it is to get to know one another and share our talents and share our foods and share our clothing, share our style. Because I mean, some of the New Mexico stuff is cool as fuck. You know what I mean?
Arizona too, man.
Yeah, Arizona.
Right there,
That's
too.
right.
That's where Randy's from.
Mhm.
Shout out to Winslow. Shout out to the
Yeah, shout out
Net
where you're
Nation.
from,
It
brother.
stretches, from New Mexico, AZ, Colorado a little bit. And
Yeah,
I
break
would
it
say
down.
Utah too, but then right there's the Southern Ute tribe. We got the Hopi tribe. A lot of pueblos.
Mm.
It's kind of shout out to the other tribe, all the tribes.
Yeah, shout out to
Randy
Arizona,
B,
where my brother's from right here.
Pass the mic to Randy. You could say
Yeah.
some shit, so. But yeah, and Randy B, I've known Randy B since I was kind of really starting to get into hip hop, and I was starting to find out more about my indigeneity. At the same time, my identities was like I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Then hip hop was like a perfect outlet for me while I was spiraling downward in this small town, Shiprock, New Mexico, born and raised in Albuquerque. Then I moved there with my parents and had a great time with my older brother Shane. He introduced me to making beats, rapping. My next door neighbor made beats, so it gave me a chance to go over and start at a younger age, getting into percussion, writing poetry. Then I fell in love with break dancing too, breaking and popping. And a lot of my peers, they were super advanced. So like I never really like took it further than as much as some of them are world dancers and stuff, and
Wow.
world recognized hip hop artists or some sort. And shout out to Wake Self. I met Wake. I met a lot of my best friends at jams that Randy B would throw back
Nice.
then, and every second Saturday, Gallup, New Mexico. More than just Gallup, New Mexico, but then I think that's where the headquarters was. It was the first hip hop, all native hip hop crew that I've ever come across, and was Foundations of Freedom. So like when I was leaving, like, yo, the foundation is there. So it's like Foundations of Freedom is,
Mhm.
FOF crew. That's Randy B though. He's like, he's probably one of the main producers, the main leader of the crew, the hip hop
Nice.
collective that I think really sparked a lot of our adventures younger. He gave us a place to stay, Wake and I, before we even had a place when we were just teenagers dropping out of high school,
Yeah.
skipping prom to go to the battles and be a part of his events. So
Right.
like Randy B, like, held it down through hip hop, and he's a dope all elements artist too. Like I just mostly just rap, make beats. Sometimes I'll dabble with beatboxing. I could kind of tag a little bit, but Randy B does all elements. He could DJ.
Oh, nice.
He's like a real like entrepreneur too. And I'm just honored to be all of us here together. Like, so I don't know. I can't give the best intros, but this, I couldn't just leave it hanging. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man.
Randy B here. So yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Randy B. So what was it like, putting together those type of shows, and what were the challenges?
What shows?
I don't think there was like any challenge. You know what I mean? If you have the heart for fucking hip hop, you just fucking ride for it no
Yeah.
matter what. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you don't care if one person shows up or fucking 5,000 shows up.
Nice.
You're doing shit from here.
Right.
And you're here to fucking represent. And like, I didn't even, you know what I mean? Like, I was probably like one of the only natives in my hometown doing that shit. It
Nice.
wasn't until like friends came over and they're like, holy fuck, you're fucking Navajo doing this shit here in a border town.
Right.
Right. And
What would that mean? What did that mean? Like,
because I didn't grow up on the reservation. I grew up on a border town on the reservation. And so there's it was next to a prison, Kaibab Yard, which is a federal prison. So a lot of OGs get locked up there from all over the place, especially from like LA. So there's a lot of LA gangs in Winslow. So you see all the politics growing up, and you just learn very early. And so when I seen hip hop, it was more it was like West Coast like gang culture.
Right.
It wasn't really hip hop. It was like funk, West Coast funk gang culture.
Right. Right.
But when breaking came out, people were breaking. So I mean, like UTI out of LA, they were in Winslow.
No way.
Ones who raised me too and gave me letters as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do.
Respect. And so they also, I seen popping and locking and b-boying during that time. And you got to mind, I didn't know how to speak English. So I moved from the reservation to Winslow, age 5 or 6. And so I was learning like Cholo letters before I knew my ABCs. And then,
That's
you know what I mean?
beautiful, man.
Yeah. So like that's how I was learning.
You know
ABCs.
what makes me feel good about that is that like the interconnecting of our cultures, right? Like it was something that influenced you enough to go, look, I'm going to do this before I do whatever else that comes along in my path, right? And that's beautiful, man. Like
Yeah,
that.
for
And
real.
now we're here. Now we're here in LA.
Yeah.
And
It's a trip because,
Yeah.
you know, I just grew up in it and I didn't even know what it's called.
yeah.
And I just stay repping like that.
Dope.
And I was like 1984, 85,
Wow.
1985.
Yeah.
So I'm like 46 now. And I'm still doing this shit.
Yeah. No,
Getting up there, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
and that's the one thing that I liked about Defy is that he was a well-rounded MC. Like there was, you know, obviously there's different levels and different stages that you go through. I think the newer cats are kind of going through that right now, you know, figuring out like just one song is just a stepping stone because you're going to like develop and evolve. That's the point of an artist, is to not sound the same forever, you know. And I don't feel like that's what you did, Defy. I think like it's still boom bap, but it has the skill. It has obviously you have your personality. And I like it, dude. I like your music, bro.
Thanks.
Everyone should go follow Defy for sure.
Straight up.
No one has your style though, bro. Like I'm gonna be real.
Hey,
Like that's
that
a
means a
very
lot, man.
extremely unique style, right, Zero?
You know where I got really impressed is when I bumped into Defy at I think it was what was it, that show at Los Globos you let me in, Armando? Remember there was I think it was Abstract Rude or Shapeshifter show or something like that. And
Oh snap! It was the Project Blow.
the Project Blow. That's what.
That was dope. That
Yeah,
was a
the
dope
Project Blow. I
out
fucking
to
walking through the
Project
crowd, and he's all, I was like, "Hey, Defy."
Catch
And he's like,
one.
"I was like, yeah." I was like, "Wait, dude, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I just performed." I was like, "Hell yeah, he deserves to be up there because he's really good. You know, put in the time, put in the work, and to be up there with LA."
Does take, yeah, it takes a long time,
The
man.
Project Blow is like, if you're a part of Project Blow or you get to hit the Project Blow stages, that's like real underground LA hip hop stuff. That's like locals kind of thing. You know, if you're in that group, like Tumex is from that Project Blow. Shout out to Tumex. I mean Cholo Lancinco. A lot of people came out of there, and it was a cool ass movement. And that's what kind of LA does. And that's what we're trying to do here with LA Natives. Like when we put on an event, we're trying to make it feel like that.
Bro, our
Like
listeners,
that good life kind of.
our listeners
vibe.
pull up, raise their own, like
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. Well, because they, how many
Seen
times?
it packed out on the recaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything you guys post up.
Yeah.
You were at what? Like I think you were at the first one, right?
No, it was Keys. Keys came down from
Oh, okay.
Oklahoma. Yeah, no, we didn't ask Defy yet. That we asked Defy to get on an interview after that.
Oh, Defy, you haven't performed at one of our LA Natives events?
Not yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you're on the next one, bro. For
Yes.
damn sure.
Absolutely. And also too, we also had to put them on the Indigenous Peoples Day, East Los Angeles, because we got
Absolutely.
we got a little momentum with that, and I invite everyone that I meet, like from people from Canada. Now we got New Mexico, and it was interesting how I just was
We gotta
sitting
get you
outside.
out to the gathering of MCs too.
Oh, for sure,
2023.
dude. Oh, I can't wait, bro. I can't wait for sure. Yeah, I'm down. I'm totally down. I mean, I seen the highlights from this year. Natani tore it up. I mean, the stage was lit. It looked fucking packed all the way to the back. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of work, bro. And then plus you have to perform, right? Did you perform?
A couple joints. Like sometimes you only have, 2 songs or song or two.
Bro,
And to do all that work for 2 songs, man. Damn.
Yo, Zero,
Yo.
I tripped out. Me and Paz was on like a little tour. We hit New Mexico, and then that's like I think the last time I saw Defy over there. And we go to a hotel, right? There's a big ass sign that says we don't rent rooms to locals.
Oh shit.
I tripped the fuck out. So I asked the manager, I'm like, yo, the fuck is this about? Albuquerque, right? The manager straight up told me, hey bro, there's too many crackheads over here. We can't let anyone rent our rooms anymore or else they'll fucking destroy them. and literally every fucking hotel had a big ass sign saying we don't rent to locals. I just that's my experience in New Mexico.
Sorry that shit happened, man.
But it's a reality though, right?
It is kind of, yeah, it is. It's a bad problem out there in Albuquerque. I mean, I love Albuquerque to the fullest, but if they charge you like $250 for incidentals for out of towners, out of states, like $50. So
Right.
Oh, wow.
$200 more to spare. I mean,
Right.
Well, I just never seen a sign like that anywhere on tour. You know what I'm saying? And we've been everywhere, like especially in LA, right, Zero? Like at best, there's like a fat deposit.
Yeah.
But over there, bro, they just completely like, nah, we don't
No.
rent to any fucking locals.
You know, I
thought that was very discriminatory. I'm like, yo, wait a minute. So if someone needs
come
a
on,
room,
Albuquerque,
you guys don't rent.
I gotta welcome
Yeah.
everybody.
You guys don't fucking rent them a room. I'm like, yo, that's fucking disgusting.
It's you know, touring with El Vu and going out to those states like Arizona and because I've been to Flagstaff, I've been to
Flagstaff's a nice town.
no, it's
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, that was a
Flagstaff's
cool one.
nice
That was at a college, but it's not.
No,
Phoenix.
I love
What's the other one?
I love
past Phoenix is Tucson. Tucson.
Albuquerque loves everybody that comes in from LA too. You
I
know?
saw the
Every
signs at
Walmart.
Tucson. When I went to Tucson with El Vu, they were like, we don't rent to locals. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. It's like, why do they do that? Like,
Tucson feels like Burke a lot, actually.
yeah.
A little bit, huh? It does have the mountain on the east.
Yeah, yeah. It's a cool place. I liked it.
town.
It was cool. I think we were there with MERS or something like that.
So-
Yeah. So we played with
Was this
MERS.
during when MERS had the label? He was like
I think so. During
producing.
that time.
I know he had a native rapper on there. Shout out to the homie MC Optimal.
Yep,
He was on
Optimal.
there for a while on MERS's label.
Oh,
Have you ever
dope.
checked out his stuff?
No,
He's
no.
from
Chopper.
Tahana Autumn Nation. I don't know if I said that right.
Otam.
Autumn,
Yeah.
yeah, but he's dope. He's dope.
Well, it's time to like
For
gather
some reason,
everybody.
you guys maybe gathering of MCs. We need to get Optimal
Yeah.
too out there so you guys can connect and
Right.
interface, and you guys would sound good on a song too.
Yeah,
I think personally.
absolutely. I mean,
Just
it's
out
it that the whole idea of creating LA Natives is to connect the Turtle Island family. You know, there's other MCs that have other. I mean, I did my thing in Los Angeles for 25 years. I'm pretty confident that you know people in Los Angeles know my music. I toured in Mexico. I toured in Canada. Went to New Mexico, but I feel like, you know, since I do have a little bit of a home field advantage here, I can open up the door for like people like Defy, people like Dakota, people like YB. So that's what I'm trying to do. When I do that, I feel like I'm doing my part in fulfilling prophecy of gathering the original family together. And just like this brother's story of learning how to write letters that come from my neighborhood, right, where I grew up when I was born and raised. Because those letters were developed for protection at first. Like, you're not going to cross our lines. If you do, you're going to meet these guys right here, because we defend ourselves. Now, over the years, it gets corrupted with drugs and politics and incarceration. But I'm talking about the spirit of our connection. We have to, at one point on this land, recognize that not only the Mexica nation, not only the Dene nation, not only all nations of Turtle Island are one family. Because we're here just to share what we have. And that's what I'm doing with this podcast. So that's why I'm glad that you guys are here. The brother from Arizona, brother from New Mexico. And thanks for staying, bro. I mean, I just appreciate it.
Appreciate you for having us on your show, man. It's an honor to be here.
We need a voice, bro.
We love your show, man. I'm watching from New Mexico or wherever I'm at.
Nice.
Sometimes I'm not able to watch live, but I always watch the episodes and they're dope, man. Thank you.
No.
You have a lot of them too. The consistency over the time.
Hey,
Yo,
it's cool
believe
to
it or
be
not,
in person with you this time, you know?
Yeah, but this is episode 130.
Yeah.
Crazy, right, Zero?
Wow.
130, man. And it's rough because you know how it is to be an artist, bro. You're like, I kind of figured it out that an artist is that same guy. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how famous you are. you're still the guy that puts his hat on the sidewalk and see if people put money into it. That's what an artist is, bro.
Straight up.
Even if you're Drake, you just have a bigger hat. You have a fancier hat and people put money into it. And you go to their town and you go, when I go to that town, I make this much money. Because that's what art is. It's kind of like taking from the ether and letting people feel it. And if they appreciate it, they'll go, hey, let me buy this guy coffee. Let me buy this guy I mean, I just heard you negotiate a show. I was kind of ear hustling.
Well, look, Defy.
It's local.
Defy.
It's a local show, so I dropped I said a low number.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, look.
usually I cost a lot more, but that was a low number.
This
just
is the
because,
reality, though.
Yeah, it's the reality, exactly.
But this is reality. Like Defy, you could always, start rapping about bitches, money, drugs, and fucking gang banging and shit. That's the easy route, right? But you're an underground MC. You're more of a
Right.
conscious, higher learning type of fucking MC. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes, like, yeah, poet too, or I don't know. You
Yeah.
have to wear different hats sometimes.
Sure.
You could be an MC, but some days you might be called upon to translate some lyrics from another language, and it could not match up on the beat that you thought. So you gotta kind of make your own beat, and that leads to like some free verse type stuff. I don't know. So
That's art, bro.
work with the band.
What you're
or
describing is an art.
write a book or something. Things like that.
What you're describing is art.
It all started from the love of rap, though, love of hip hop, like Randy said. So that's like, it's true. Like that'll carry you forth to whatever era. And I just, I feel like I've got to give you a salute too, because you're one of the few MCs I've seen just like stay going at it too over the decades. And it's not easy as an artist. Like,
No.
it's like,
But
you gotta keep going.
and then you get
So
what you pay for because you ask.
You get out what you put into. Sometimes
Yeah.
you may not, but you still keep going. And
You go. I
can't-
want to write. I want to write about my people, right? You want to write? All right, cool. Here's the story,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh fuck, I have to say that. It's not easy because then some people don't want to hear it, even though it's profound, even though it hits the heart. They don't want to hear the truth. The story of Native people across Turtle Island is not a happy one. It's a triumphant one. It's an inspirational one because when you go to the res, you could still see the people smile. You could still see something inside of them that they remember deeply that they cannot get to. That original, whatever it is. I know I've been on tour and I've gone there. I've seen it. I come from the city, but I've seen it in brothers like my brothers right here. And it's not a happy story sometimes, but it's something beautiful inside of you guys that awakens something inside of me to remember. Because you got to remember that when it comes to people of Mestizo or of the Mexica nation, we're the orphans of a previous civilization that was here for a very long time. And when they prophesized that our civilization, our societies were no longer going to be here for 500 years, it kind of brought us back down to the beginning of a new cycle, which is us now. Right now. What is that cycle? The cycle of sharing and remembering. Remembering each other. Remembering that we have blood that comes together and has a good time and walks in a good way. Right?
That's real spell.
That's what we want to do. I want to inspire every single res kid. Man, look, to every single res kid in Arizona and New Mexico and wherever you are in Turtle Island, Defy's one of your biggest heroes, man. I'm serious. He's that guy. Go listen to his music. You'll see his story. You'll see his heart. And you'll know that if you're one of those kids on that res and you're kicking can around and you're dreaming to, go somewhere, do something, be someone, you're already someone, guy. You're already someone that's showing you. Yeah, man. You got to go a lot of places, bro.
Bro, you still, like I said it a little bit earlier, but it's just artists like yourself did pave the way for us natives, like a little further. It's the same thing as like you paved the road so we could ride on the highway ways now. You know what I mean? Because now
Beautiful.
the younger native artists are packing big shows.
The Standing Bear.
Yep, heard like you named a lot of the artists, and like shout out to everybody who's in their thing. Man.
Yeah,
Music,
hey, look,
artists, indigenous artists, all directions.
Yeah,
All
Northside
directions.
Baby. Northside Baby's killing it. I mean,
Yeah.
Natani's killing it. It's a movement. I just wish it will
The
come
Mexica
together.
community too.
Yeah. The Coyotes are fucking killing it. I mean, there's some commercial stuff that's happening that is connected to whatever you want to define yourself as. But the point of all of it is that if we erase borders, erase all hierarchies, and learn from each other, accept each other for who they are, where they come from, remember that our wisdom goes back thousands of years, and our communication with each other is not new. It's not new that we have relations. I want to put that clear out to the LA Natives podcast. It's a new cycle of it. This is where we come together and we kind of go arm in arm. We put together dope shows. We awaken. We bring those kids from the res and we go, hey, how about a week here and we do a show for you and you're in Los Angeles and we go to the beach and life doesn't suck if you take control of it. If you have a communication with the fire, if you have any sort of ceremony, any sort of eldership, any sort of connection with an ancient past, cling to it. Because the prophecies are coming true right now as we speak. The white man is dying. It's dying. It's
Facts.
Dying of his own cancer. That's the truth.
And just quick disclaimer, right? Zero, it's not like we're attacking all white people.
No. We don't mean that. I don't mean, hey, if you're dying of cancer and we trying to tell you to eat these herbs and heal yourself and you decide not to do it for 500 years, something's gonna happen to you. It's not gonna be my fault.
We only hate the white person that disrespects the land, the water, the wind, the fire.
That's right, because he has no respect for Mother Earth. Why should I respect you? That's the first thing we defend is our mother. Come on, man. It's the fucking first thing we defend is our mother. You treat our mother like she's some inanimate object, that's a problem. That's a problem in native country. That's a problem in the inner cities. That's a problem. And I don't mean that in a violent way. I mean that in the way of 7 generations, that we're going to teach our children the right ways. We're going to teach them to persevere, stand in front of the fire, take some commitments, and push our people forward. Another 7 generations. 7 generations at a time. That's what we're going to do. 7 generations at a time. So we're going to heal them.
Shout out to all the viewers. Shout out to the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. And as you guys know, we got merch available. It's in the link in the description below. You can check out Zero's music there. Zero will be releasing some music.
I have 4 singles that I need to release. And let's be real. It's hard to raise the money to do that. Because you can't take away from your family, feeding your family or doing the responsibilities that you need to do just to survive here.
Yo, so the mind says he always references the white man to the ideology of like self-destructive culture. That's how he describes the hatred towards the white man.
It's not a race of people. It's the way you treat people. I don't hate people because they're white or they have blue eyes.
That word hate is fucking disgusting.
I don't dislike them. It's if you treat me bad, I'm fuck, man. What, you want me to just, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude. Like, it's common sense, bro. It's not because you're white. You're treating people bad. You're disrespecting. You don't walk with honor. You're cheating. You're lying. You're hurting. You're taking away children from homes that maybe can use some improvement, but they don't need to be tortured or traumatized forever. What people don't know is that when the doctrine of discovery was brought here by Europeans, it said it was to slave, a perpetual slavery. Perpetual means forever.
Yeah.
Right? Forever. So we're here as the community that said, fuck your document and fuck your perpetual slavery, because there's nothing that defeats our wisdom and our connection with the fire and our connections with our ancestors who went into the ether. They knew how to hide, and they knew how to bring messages back. And it comes through music, and it comes through event coordinators who inspire young kids to become that brother right there.
Even become even better, you know?
Yeah. Oh man,
True that.
I love it when like the new cats
Thank
like
you, man. Thank you for the props, man.
like
It means a lot to get it.
and I say that so it reaches the hearts of every beautiful little kid on that res. Everyone who runs on that dirt road. I know what it was like. I was there, man. When I was a kid, I used to run. You know, my mom used to take me everywhere. We've been to TJ. We've been to reservations. We've been.
Yo, Zero.
Yo,
I have to run this back, bro.
How it is you voted for Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport all illegal immigrants, if he were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore. When my ancestors built this nation, they did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider, you keep saying your ancestors built this country, you consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Black people, Native Americans, Chinese people who came and built the railroads.
Do you think none of that could have been
Italian
achieved?
people.
Just had to run that classic shit back, dog. And they're active right now, huh, Zero?
With that guy in another interview. And so this is what I'm talking about, though. What I'm talking about is that the YT culture is dying. Not even their own kids want to follow that road of hating someone else because of their color of their skin. And
You can see that, yeah.
It's
the
like
the youth even feel like that's fucked up. What their parents and grandparents
believe,
teaching them over
right?
the years.
Yeah,
Believe.
what they believe.
He's all. We didn't build this country to just give it away to the Mexicans and to the to the Muslims and to the Chinese. Like fucking.
This is how
that way of thinking, bro, is. Man.
But this is the climate that we're in. This is the president that's in office, right? So I like to look at it in a micro and a macro sense, right? We can sit here and talk shit about that guy all day. But then instead of going, yeah, we all know, we can all say the same thing about that guy, that he's wrong. But if we look into our indigenous past and the way our older community used to solve problems, it's very different than trying to manipulate your way or hurt other people to make your people live here. It doesn't work that way. I think that Native culture taught us that the more connected you are to the people around you and the earth underneath you, underneath your feet, is what creates success and larger population. They're saying, well, let's deport, let's not allow, and our population will grow. That's like saying, well, we're not going to give water and we're not going to give fertilizer to the plant, but our plant's going to grow. What makes the nation is everyone's participation. That's what makes a nation, but they'll never get that because they came here with the intention of only making one lineage. And it's not even that. Like once you study history properly, it wasn't just the English that became Americans. There were the Dutch, the French. I mean, go to Canada, man. There's French people. Once you get on like Vancouver and then all of a sudden you're like fucking hearing French, I'm like, where the fuck am I? Like, I thought this was fucking Vancouver. right? So it wasn't just.
That's true. Yeah.
It wasn't just. There's Dutch, there's Swedish, there's all kinds of little colonial pockets that kind of blanket Turtle Island, you know. And they keep this illusion that they're this powerful thing in the earth. But what makes you a powerful presence in the earth is your wisdom. Your wisdom is what makes you powerful, not the money, not the lands you own, not the people you kill, not the people you destroy. That's not what this guy is talking about, is not what makes your people powerful.
The dude's checking him. He's like, dude, Native Americans built this country. He's like, well, you don't think we would have thought of that? Like,
it's kind of like this. It's kind of like stealing.
It's like, how can you argue with the guy like that, right, Defy?
Yeah, you can't argue with a dude like that. You might as well move on, or I don't know.
But that's unfortunately, we live in, and unfortunately, like
what
they'll
is it called?
do
Confirmation bias, or some shit in psychological.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the terminology of it.
The person like that guy will only believe what his beliefs are. You know, basically is what I'm saying, and anything else is just like, it just causes some cognitive dissonance that's gonna, you know, throw his brain off, trigger some stuff to like make him. Nah, it's not true.
I'm not sure if
can't get with people like that. I don't know. I'm just high as fuck.
I'm not sure if the goal is to change an individual's mind who thinks like that. The goal is to analyze how they think. This is a low level person. He's maybe a millionaire, maybe, right? Even if he's not a billionaire.
He looks like the typical fucking carpet salesman CEO.
Yeah, somebody like some low level Republican maybe has a little bit of voice to, you know, but
he's all, we voted for Trump. You know,
we did say that.
We voted for Trump because he's gonna bring back the white people.
Right. So, but that's my point. We automatically concede.
Backfire.
We concede to their supposed power of white supremacy, whatever. When we understand nature, we know that true power is in wisdom. How to move during the seasons, where to find water, how to connect, when to grow, when not to grow, when to move, when to stay. Those are the things that we need to come back to, because in a very short period of time, the erosion will... Look, people have phones in their hands that can instantly grab information. And what's happening is people are accessing the information of very corrupt people who came and really conned everyone across Turtle Island. And now the con's being exposed. So now they're heading towards an authoritarian type of attitude, because now they're challenging the birthrights of Native Americans. That's a real deal thing, right? And if how do you?
I've been hearing that too.
No, that's a real deal thing. It's perfect, because you guys are not American. You guys are on a reservation, and that reservation is your country.
We're supposed to be sovereign, but we still, like, you know, shit happens. The federal bureau, shit, you know, all that.
Right, all that corruption. There's a lot of corruption.
It's a lot of big corruption.
But here's the play, though. Here's the play on what they say about, like, people like ICE coming and detaining someone like you. Oh, you're off your reservation. Well, I'm an American citizen. No, you're not. You're supposed to be on the reservation. The minute you come off of the reservation, now you're in a different country. You're in the U.S. and you are not. And
like, oh,
the Democrats,
you're a sovereign nation. Well, get back over to your nation.
Exactly.
Get back to your reservation.
Oh, you want to be a citizen? Then denounce your sovereign nation. When you sign this paper right here, denounce your tribe, then you become a citizen, then you can come to the U.S. This is the play that they're doing. This is what they're doing legislatively. I'm guessing there's a lot more to it. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I'm sure there's a lot of this, that, and the other. But the point is that these individuals are trying to revert back to the time. Like, don't be surprised if they ever said in 20 years, slavery is legal again. This is how fast track they're going. It's not there today.
I'm Christy Nome.
Don't be surprised if 20 years from now that they say slavery is legal again. This is the road. This is the
trip out this
fucking road we're
commercial
going.
I saw
Crazy
on
shit to think about.
on cable.
I'm Christy Nome, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border, for deporting criminal illegal immigrants, and for putting America first. President Trump has a clear message for those that are in our country illegally. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never return. For too long, weak politicians left our borders wide open. They flooded our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. They put American lives at risk. Well, those days are over. If you leave now, you may have an opportunity to return and enjoy our freedom and live the American dream. But understand this. Under President Trump, America's borders are closed to lawbreakers. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. Break it, and you'll find consequences. The choice is yours. America welcomes those who respect our laws because of
That's a straight up self-deporting commercial.
That's more than a self-deport.
Like, yo, just self-deport, and you might be able to come back.
That's more than a
What does that
self-deport.
mean?
Just sign
What
up.
does she mean by that?
Just sign up.
That's fucking-
Hey, what was that on?
Just on Fox, on
That was on Fox. That's
ESPN,
fucking funny. That's crazy.
on
He got so
on
busted for doing
ESPN, right? TNT.
I think media is very important. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm out here doing film. I have 3 feature films like in the work.
That's cool.
And like, it's
What are they about?
It's another way of talking about the movement, right?
Mhm.
There's ways that I went about it when I was younger that wasn't my way.
Mhm.
I figured that wasn't my way. But like, I see something like that, it's like, man, I would love to like make a spoof the exact same way,
Right.
just to show
Right.
that, like, you know what I mean? It's just all
Yeah. No,
like proper propaganda. It should be funny. It made me laugh because I was like, hell no, like
That's the
people need to
commercial.
wake the fuck up
Yeah.
that we can make that shit too. You know
Well-
what I mean? And you can like really like say the same shit, you know what I mean? But like against it in that same style.
Definitely. I mean, it's
that's true.
it's about and that's how we stand up. That's how we contrast or what our contribution is to oppose that. But that's a very scary ad, though. Tell you the truth, because they're saying they're not only saying not only they're saying they're going to deport people who are immigrants, they'll deport anybody who breaks the law. So right. So if I break the law in their eyes, if I say something that they don't like, or if I say something not yet, not today, but maybe 5 years from now, right? 2 years from now, because this is the first 150 days of Trump. He hasn't even been here for a year. And this is how much it's a big deal of what's happening because they're defying court orders. And then
I haven't been up to date with all this shit. I was out
dude,
of
it's
country,
super
so this
it's
shit's
like
fucking new to me.
the
This
past
is
couple
fucking
weeks
crazy.
have been incredibly surprising just because of the way the congressional hearings are going and how the people of the administration are treating the senators. They're going, we don't really care what you say, and we're going to continue to do what we do. And what are you going to do about it? Right? It's come to a point where federal judges are getting arrested because they're disagreeing with the administration. And then you have an ad that says, if you don't listen to us, we'll fucking kick you out of here. Basically, that's what it says. If you don't listen to us,
And
we're
if you
gonna
do,
fucking take you out of here.
And if you do and you self-deport, you might be able to return.
Yeah. And enjoy the freedom.
Just turn yourself in.
And enjoy the freedom, right? Enjoy the freedom of this tyranny, this authoritarianism, this like do it our way or fucking get the fuck out. And really it is trying to turn back the clock to 1940 white supremacy, where whites feel dominant over people of color. And we've gone you can't turn back the time. You can't turn back the time of 20 years of cell phones where people were fucking obsessively researching on YouTube and everybody knows the truth. Europeans came, they stole the land. They did exactly what's playing out in the Middle East. You know, this is real time stuff, but we seem to read these or see documentaries or YouTubes and read books that say, oh, that stuff is no longer around. No, it's gotten better. They just don't do it in the old way anymore. They're just more sophisticated about it. They call it different things. They make different documents, but it's the same human trafficking. It's the same abuse of the people, the original people of the land.
Yo, check this. Check this out.
Country illegally can self-deport the easy way, or people in our country illegally can self-deport the easy way, or they can get deported the hard way, and that's not pleasant. The Biden administration exploited the CBP-1 app to allow more than 1 million aliens to illegally enter the United States. Now my administration is launching the CBP Home app to give people in our country illegally an easy way to leave now and self-deport voluntarily. If they do, they could potentially have the opportunity to return legally at some point in the future. But if they do not avail themselves of this opportunity, then they will be found, they will be deported, and they will never be admitted again to the United States, ever again. You're never coming in. Using the CBP Home app to leave the United States voluntarily is the safest option for illegal aliens and our law enforcement. It also saves the U.S. taxpayer dollars and valuable CBP and ICE resources. And all of those resources are necessary to focus on dangerous criminal aliens, and that's what we're focused on. The CBP Home app is now available free across all mobile app stores, and I encourage those who have violated our laws to use this option today. Do it right and come back into our country.
I just thought that shit was the most funniest shit I ever fucking seen in my life. Now, there's an app where you can just self-deport and, you know, just fucking come right back in.
That's crazy.
He said you might come back in.
Yeah, you might. Thank you for pointing that out. You might be able to come back. Damn, this is some crazy. I've never heard a president say that. I mean, I'm about the same age as
aliens from Mars,
right
by
here.
the way. They're all from Mars.
But when I hear things like that, that just tells me that it's just further eroding. It's like it's not. And he says that, and it's like he feels like there's millions and millions of people that agree with him. Nobody agrees with the ICE raids. No one agrees with it. No one does. There's a very small population that agrees with it. The corporate media will try to downplay it, but the truth is authoritarianism is taking control of the U.S. government. That's the truth. They're going after everyone. When they're challenging Native American sovereignty and citizenship, they're going after everyone. And the reason they want to do that, and I don't mean to be alarmist, but they want those treaties dissolved, period.
For sure.
They want no treaties with you.
Zero.
Yeah. They don't want any treaties. They want all your land. If they have lithium on your land, fuck you. Get the fuck out. That's what they say. This is where we're at. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have grandpas like we did. And they didn't have spiritual leaders like we did. And this is what I mean when I put the contrast of their stupidity.
Remember, he's all, well, we won't be able to live out our destiny. What fucking destiny?
They don't have a destiny. They don't have a direction. If their direction is to rule people forever, exploit the land forever, you're going to run out of people and you're going to run out of land.
It ain't ever going to happen.
Yeah.
They thought hip-hop was a fad. And that shit just exploded. It's still exploding.
Right.
That's spirit, man.
Yeah. And look, just like our ancestors prophesied that a dark period would come, they also prophesied that we would come back together and come back to our wisdom. So it's more important for us to focus in on our internal wisdoms. Come up with a ritual, come up with a connection with whatever you got. It's time for us to be one global Turtle Island family and confront ignorance, confront bigotry. Your power, you don't have no power, bro. Your fucking ICE agents are fat and lazy. You can see it, bro. And half of them are Mexican.
Bro, they're hitting the Home Depots.
Yeah.
That's how pathetic they're going. They're in the morning meetings, they're like, hey, look, guys, let's go hit the day laborers that are chilling outside the Home Depot. Let's go.
But this is what they mean by the sleeping giant, because when those ICE agents who are Mexican start to realize what's happening, because they're being told they're being lied to too. It's not like they're being like, hey, fucking, they're saying these are criminals. And then they go, wait, how many of them were criminals today? None. 10 of them were female old ladies, right? I seen this debate between a famous TikToker or some sort of influencer and a Cambridge student from England. And there was one thing he ended that debate with, and he goes, you're going to be remembered for defending the modern Nazi, bro. You had a 2-hour discussion with people that were against everything that was happening, and you're going to be the guy that they remember for defending that bullshit. We don't care what your Bible says. You don't have power over other people, and you don't have any right to mistreat people or murder children or disrupt families. At this point, the people that are sacred, that were given this land to curate, are now going to start saying something about it. Collectively, as a family, we deserve to have happy lives. This is our original land. And no matter what racist commercials you come up with, we'll find a way to fight it.
Yo, shout out to the chat. It's lit. We got Defy in the building. Make sure you guys follow him on all social media platforms. Make sure you guys subscribe to his Spotify, man.
Yes.
For as much as evil.
YouTube's kind of going down.
How many albums you
Spotify
got
is-
out, Defy?
And YouTube.
Good amount, maybe 10, 12, somewhere.
Wow, you got
10 to
the whole
15.
catalog. So everyone.
No. Defy says follow him on YouTube. Let's make sure we all follow him on YouTube. Subscribe.
Yeah, YouTube is
Yeah.
probably the best.
Fuck Spotify.
You got the visuals.
How many videos you got?
Maybe like 60, 70.
What the fuck, for reals? Oh my God, you're like fucking damn, that's so cool.
It's a good investment. I didn't really start getting into it till late, Like
That's
YouTube
so
was
cool.
I should have jumped into YouTube earlier.
No, dude, you're in the perfect time, because look, I just recently registered with the Music Licensing Collective and Sound Exchange. And
Sound Exchange, I've heard good things.
yeah, you want to sign up for the Music Licensing Collective because they're responsible for the mechanical royalties. So I started learning a lot about how the new version of music distribution, it's no longer the radio. Before, the radio was the distribution of music, right? You used to distribute your music to St. Louis and fucking San Francisco and all these places. Now what we call the DSPs are just taking it globally. Wherever people download it, wherever you have an audience, they're going to have access to that music. So when I registered my first 2 albums on CD Baby, they gave me a barcode for each song. But I had to write down all the information. I had to fucking take the time and fucking write who fucking produced the song, all the information has to be filled out, right? It takes hours. And I just recently did that. And now I go, whoa. Because at first I was like, it was an option. It was like, you don't have to do this. But I was just like, fuck it. I know the information. I'm going to fucking sit down and do it. This was 20 years ago. This is before. And the MP3s were barely coming into play, right, back then. And so CDB was ahead of the game because they were putting barcodes on each song, right? So they were giving you a digital, what they call an ISRC numbers, right? Think about that. I got that before iTunes, before Spotify, before all these streaming things, before DistroKid. So that basically what I didn't do as an artist was register my music properly, so that just in case I got onto the radio, I had my royalty set up and the proper payments would go to the right places. Digital streaming changed everything when it comes to artistry and those type of registering, right? You register with ASCAP, you register with the Music Licensing Collective, because they started to dominate the streaming world. And so you got Sound Exchange, who dominates radio and air, like digital play. And then there's Sound Trust, which is international. That's my next one that I'm going to register for. But all these are important because now that 5 cents that you used to get from your record label now can come to you directly if you register your music properly and you get enough plays and you have enough streams. It's almost like the radio station goes, "Oh, here's your money, bro. Here's the money that the people played this many songs this many times." And I get, for every 3 months, I get around $90 of like hard copy sales where people actually pay $1 for the download. So like every 3 months I get like $90 or something like that. So now that I registered the music properly, I produced every single Boo record and Victory record. I wrote on every single record. So I just put the licenses together, and I haven't seen the results of it, but I'm sure that the results will be nice because I got that number so early. You know what I mean? The SIR, because I was like, I don't really need to do this. Why the fuck am I spending the time? Because we were selling hard copy CDs. We wanted to sell a hard copy CD back then. But CD Baby was ahead of the game, and they gave me those numbers. And I started finding all the music on the registries because of those numbers.
Man, I love that era back then too. But right before, what you're talking about, because you could sell CDs for $10. Everybody could come up.
Yeah.
It was like, I've seen you guys do it when you guys came to the gathering.
Yeah, we sold a lot of CDs. Yeah,
that's why hip hop shops were fucking.
I miss that. I miss that era too.
Yeah.
Like just the people
videos,
buying
the graph
$10
videos,
pop,
the
boom.
magazines.
I just,
mixtapes.
Tumex, I had a conversation with Tumex a while ago, and he goes, look, he was always ahead of the game. He would always sit down with us and give us like at least 15 or 20 minutes of like game, right? And he's like, look, in the future, it's going to be about your audience, right? He's going to be like right now we depend on like the record labels to promote hip hop. But at one point, we're going to need to promote whatever hip hop we're doing. It's not going to be a record label. It's going to be like whatever social media page, whatever. He's all, you could create your own audience. You could create your own world. And he was just going off about and he was talking about the direct to marketing that social media brings when you're an artist, right? That's why this is really the time of an artist. If you have good art and you can put it together properly and the only thing that I see with new artists is that they're not seasoned enough. So when they make a good song, they can't follow it up, or the show isn't as entertaining.
Sometimes it's tough to see live, huh? Like some of the artists, they sound real good in the mix, but I don't know.
It takes time.
Bro, it takes time to
Defy.
balance.
How many? Okay, let me ask you this
Probably
honest
like
question.
20 years probably to feel comfortable in myself to be like up to feeling okay to open up for somebody that I know is a greater MC that's been doing it before, someone that's
Fire.
someone
Yes.
that's dope, and then
Yes.
finally after that much time,
Like me, they
dedication,
recently
years,
offered
and
me.
everything you go through.
Recently,
you
I just
get there, but
I just opened up for
just keep believing in
Immortal.
yourselves, young MC.
Right. I just opened up for Immortal, and I know what you mean.
But damn,
I know what you
sold
mean.
out show too. You guys,
Yeah.
congrats, man.
Yeah, at the Riverside, dude. But it was like he goes, "Hey, you want to be on? You want to open up?" Oh, yes. But it took a long time. It took. You know how many rooms I played that nobody knew my music? There was nobody there to see me. It was 20 years of that before you get to this place where you're like, yeah, I can rock that fucking crowd. I can do that. I go, dude, you want to play a stadium? I'll do a stadium. Fuck it. Dude, give me the mic,
Yeah, Defy could shred any stage.
Exactly. But sometimes, though, in the newer version of music, they write a good song, but they've never toured, and they've never played a room that didn't have anybody in it, and they never did a show that just paid their way there. And because you get viral, people are in demand for you. That's why I hope that what we build here with LA natives and the shows that we build and the community that we build, that we give the proper props to people who have done it for a long time, like Defy and Brother here, they organized hip hop shows from back in the day that made hip hop relevant in his community.
Yeah, Randy B was like I was saying.
Randy B.
Randy B too. Like he was putting shows on events first, and there's a lot of dope MCs who came to Randy's venue with Pat, Amy back then. You know, around Foundations of Freedom. It was a small place, but you know, shout out to Evidence. Even came through all the way to
Yo, and I'm
tried
sure
some fried bread, and he was like, "I love the fried bread."
And I'm sure,
Stew, you know,
Yeah.
that was just cool to see like a legend from
Yeah,
LA
yeah.
come out to our small town. And
yo, and I'm sure back in those days, like no one was rapping over their fucking vocals, right?
nah, nobody.
These fucking kids, they don't even fucking rap anymore. They just throw the record on and have the fans recite the shit.
It's way different. It's crazy.
You know, as a poet,
Bizarre.
as a
I feel like
poet,
there's a resurgence of some dope lyricism coming out though. A lot of I've seen
It's happening.
throughout the travels. There's people in the pockets out there that can freestyle and crazy. They may not like do it the same way, but it's in a way on a beat that I can't freestyle like that too. So I'm like, damn, I respect that, bro. You're killing it. Fuck yeah, but I don't. Sometimes you just don't know who they are, but they're
right,
I hope they emerge, you know, and keep going because
right.
some fire
You know,
MCs out
social
there,
media.
younger MCs, I mean,
I remember talking to my manager a while ago, and he goes, "There's not going to be any more like superstars anymore." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's all, "Yeah, no, it's too wide open now.
that's what somebody said to me too.
Yeah.
One of this
There's not going to be
percussionist,
anybody superstars no more. There's not going to be
That's
no
what he
more
said,
Bob
too.
Marleys. There's not going to be no more Jimi Hendrix.
No more
Yeah.
Bob Dylan,
Michael Jackson.
No
you
more
know.
Bob. No, that's gone.
Yeah, it is.
And it's because they let everyone in the freeway, right? It's like before the freeway you used to have talent before you can enter the freeway. You're like, oh yeah, here's the A&R. Oh, you have a nice crowd. Okay, cool. Can you sell records? Okay, can you sell records? Okay, now we're letting you on the freeway, right? And that's how you make a superstar. You get somebody who, then you invest in him, you develop him, and then he becomes this amazing individual with a 20-year career. Nowadays, it's so fast. Like they're just like, fuck it, everybody get in the freeway, whoever can fit. And yeah, oh, well, he's doing some good shit, so let's fucking copy him and let's get him. And it's just so wide open. That's why there's never going to be any more superstars. Unless you stand out in that freeway and you do things that are very good and you spend time on that. And that's why I spend so much time. You know, I wrote 2 new songs in the past 2 days and killed my battery, my car, you know, just working because I don't have a studio at this moment.
You record in your car?
No, I
shit.
I just
That's
obsessively,
good acoustics.
I just like a private space. I like a confined private space. If it's not a studio, you know, where no one's in there and it's just, I like writing by myself. It's just weird. This is my process. It's like, I just do it by myself. I encapsulate myself in some space and I just play that beat over and over. On the way to here, I rode the bus just to get the experience of the city. And I do things, I started to realize that art is everything you're doing, especially when you're a lyricist, right? And the lyricist is like always looking at, you know, the bum on the street, the tag on the wall, the bus he took, the weather, the cop, everything. You just got to be aware, and that's what makes the poem kind of come to life. You know, whether it's the scenery or the spirit that you're feeling next to, right? You're walking by somebody who's struggled in life. I don't know. I'm taking my art to that level. I like to spend time. I like to take time to record things. I'm not in a rush to do anything because I don't believe in the illusion of a superstar anyways. I believe in connection with the spirit. I believe in connection with what inspires me to write music. That's what keeps me going. That's the MTV Music Award right there. The ability to know that you could tap into that wisdom, into that guidance. Music was guidance for me. I'm sure that your music guided a lot of people too, in the organization of, you know, the hip hop that you produce. Talk about some of the events that you maybe did back in the day.
I could talk about one event that I was recently at Randy B put on. It was called Sacred Cipher.
Mm.
But actually, you could talk about it. But it was I really enjoyed it. Shout out to B-Boy Remind. He was there. Who else was there? I don't know.
Yeah. Sacred Cypher first started in 2012, but it was a vision from 2003.
Nice.
My first song I ever did. It was cool because I showed my mom. And she approved. It was called
Nice.
It was called Fifth World Order.
Yeah.
And it was just the parallels of hip hop subculture and indigenous like culture. The dance, the uprock war dancing, the drummers, the turntablists, the petroglyph, the graffiti, you know, the chants and the MCs. It was like this future primitive like story, which was like our story, FOF, Foundations of Freedom. And I always wondered why hip hop just came so easy for me. And I realized later on, I was like, it's just in my DNA.
Yeah.
Like I'm meant to do this. Like I can do every element like with ease. And so to be part of the crew, you got to run like 3 elements. And there's a certain like number of books that you read, you know, talking about the times that are happening right now and how we're going to be spiritually free from that. We ain't going to let that shit like hold us down at all.
Yeah.
No trauma porn. We weren't into that. You know what I mean? Like our movement was different. It was like from the future, you know, it was from like the glittering world age. And so our events always contain all elements. And that's really just the secret. You know, the more elements you have, the richer you'll become. I think KRS-One said that actually. And I looked at it as not in the form of money, but in the form of like real elements. Like down to how many like spiritual elements you have, down to like the images you're rocking on your clothes, down to like the spiritual like tools you have on you, your arrowheads, you know what I mean, your certain crystals, the way you're dressed, right? And that's how I took it. So basically our events was just an all element show.
That's a cool concept.
We never quit. And so by the time I got to when we were doing this, and a lot of people were like, "Yo, your shit's gonna pop off in Burque, not Phoenix. It's gonna happen in Burque."
Burque is
and Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I was like, "Damn, you're right," because of the melting pot of all the tribes. So around 2012, we threw the first Sacred Cypher, which was we brought in a turn because it's a Gathering of Nations, right? I used to do it on Sundays, and
Gathering of MCs was on Friday, right?
Yep, yeah. And so our whole thing was like, we're a bunch of scams, we're a bunch of natives in Burque. We're like, there's got to be other b-boys, there's got to be other like urban dancers that dance, you know what I mean, that are not just powwow dancers. And we want to link with them. Same thing, like, you know what I mean, that you're talking about, you know what I mean, uniting like all indigenous people, you know, on Turtle Island. That was the focus of this. Like, we got to find these other dancers. Like, we know there's other b-boys. And so we just basically threw that event as a call out, being like, yo, like, come cypher with us. Hence the name Sacred Cypher. No battles. You know, we're still battle cats to this day, but like a chance for you to just be free.
Nice.
Right? And share your style with no judgment. Show your spirit. And it fucking grew. Like, so I put up my own money, like $3,000-$4,000 of my own money by selling $20 paintings for like a year. And I just flew in every like indigenous hip hop pioneer that I knew at the moment, those that came before me that I met in real life. And I flew them out, was like, you ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to perform. You ain't got to do shit. Just, I'm here to honor you. Let everyone know that. Shout out, you mean like a culture shock? You know what I mean? Keith's brother. Yeah.
I just seen him like a few months ago.
Yeah, Brian Freejo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and just telling people about that story of like who came before me and how I was created and the reason why I think, the way I do what I do, and the way I dance. So B-Boy Remind, I just went down the line, every dope ass indigenous like hip hop fucking practitioner, and we put us all in one room, and then we brought the powwow drum, we brought some African dancers and drummers, some danza aztecas,
nice.
House dancers, b-boys, freestylers, like, and then of course like Defi and Wake, they were our crew MCs, so they brought in who they wanted to bring in, and that included their own DJ, which Element would come through, and Element would drum instead of play records, and he would scratch, and it was like this experiment that would happen of the past, the present, making way for the future culture. And that's what Sacred Cipher was all about. And we did that. I think we're on number 12 or 13 now. But there's this one magical one in 2012 during the Najoni Days powwow. It was raining outside, but they brought it inside, and we were down in the center of the atrium. And I built, it was like 3 months, 4 months of like promoting and free event, and everyone just showed up. It was already packed.
Beautiful.
But then up above was the powwow, and there was a whole other like group of people. And we just really
like the two worlds met, right? Like the
two worlds met. A lot of some elder came to me, and he whispered Wovoka, and I was like, oh,
what?
man.
That's heavy, bro. That one, yeah.
Yo.
That's a dope memory of the jam. I remember that jam.
Yo,
hey, how you guys doing?
we have a caller, Zero.
Yo, what up? What up? Hey, so we have a caller. One love. Hey, bro, that
How you guys doing?
Give me 1 second, brother. That was a beautiful story, bro.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
That was amazing, bro. Like, shout out for doing that. Shout out for recognizing it and taking it to a level that's like, when you say elements, we're not talking about components or turntables. We're talking about elements. We're talking about crystals, copper, fire, drum, water. Dude, that's so fire. Like, we need to make that happen here in Los Angeles. We need to make that happen back there. We need to make it happen across Turtle Island. What I mean about the unification of Turtle Island is not one happy family. Everyone stands on their own 2 feet. Everyone has their own ways. But we recognize our territories and respect each other. Anyways, welcome in, brother. What you got to say? How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, I've been following the channel for some time now, and it's just something that interests me because one thing is, I think it's in my, like I said, the DNA thing. Like, I'm Mexican, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure like where my parents come from Mexico, I probably have that like in my roots, And so obviously it interests me what's going on. I before, like in high school or elementary, grade school, I didn't really think much about what indigenous means or, the whole culture. But as I got older, I don't know, something in me, I guess, like woke up, like, awakening, like they say. So it got me more attracted to knowing about our culture. And it kind of just hit me where it's like, man, like, sometimes you feel you're here, but like, where do I belong? And then it hits you where it's like, well, this is our people, like where I'm originally from here. But the way the structure is, sometimes it kind of feels like, they make you feel like maybe you're from somewhere else. Oh, you belong in Mexico, or if they make those reservations for us, right? That's where you belong. But like when you're out of reservations and you're just like, I grew up in California. Sometimes you feel lost. Like, where do you fit in? Where can I find a job? Where do I find my community? Especially like as an adult, sometimes you need that networking, in order to succeed. I mean, I feel that's how a lot of people work. They go with their, like I said, they go places where they know that, they can network, they can make money. Because a lot of times you go to places and sometimes people just don't, they don't feel your vibe. They don't feel like, especially nowadays, with the whole culture thing, a lot of people are like the DEI, they're not just letting anyone in. They choose and pick who they want to let in. It's not about being diverse anymore. It's about like, hey, where you fit in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was crazy, right, Zero?
Yeah, it's always a challenge when you start at step one. This is what I mean about the differences between the res and individuals that come from a city, who come from parents that do belong to a tribe, but were so beaten that it was so beaten out of them that they taught their children not to be associating with it. We're Christian, we're good Christian children. We just go to the church and we listen and we go to work and we don't ever say anything, even if they're abusing us, even if they're molesting us. This is the proper way of living. This is where we're at. And then you go, okay, well, I'm starting to feel an indigenous connection, but what is my indigenous connection? right? And this is why you go to events like the brother just puts together, right? And I have to be honest, when I came from the city and I went to the reservation, it was a very awkward thing because I felt like, I don't belong here. I don't feel like I belong here until I started interacting with the community, right? And then when I started interacting with the community, it was like, wow, this is like going to my aunt's house. This is like a lot of what was done, how we were treated, how we were given. This is the trauma of an orphan, right? My grandmother, my grandfather were very Christianized, so I don't know anything about my indigenous culture. Uncle Longwalker took me into an EP and told me, I'm going to awaken your spirit. And then from that point on, it's going to be up to you. And I kept going to Sundance. And I'm not a Sundancer, but I participated and I learned. And I would go to other elder gatherings. And with my music, I was open doors and given seats. And I was able to communicate with brothers like Defy and brother, Robbie B?
Randy B.
Randy B, Keese. All these people across Turtle Island were just like, it was just like an awakening. And that's amazing that your event happened in 2012, the one you remembered, because that was a significant point for a lot of people on this land, especially the Mexica people.
Mm-hmm. The timing, right? The Mexica calendar.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a new cycle. It was the beginning of a new cycle. The end of the old cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. The old cycle included European dominance. The new cycle will include indigenous brilliance and community. This is how we're going to start to run things.
Yo, Zero. The chat's lit. Shout out to the native kids. Shout out to Bobby Hernandez, The Mind, Spiral Web. Shout out to Raymond. We got Texas in the building. We got Kansas City in the building.
Nice.
We have Arizona in the building.
Nice.
And we have Seattle in the building.
Yeah.
Crazy, right, Zero?
Yeah. No.
And and we always have these late birds that are always chilling with us to the end, bro. Like we it's dope that we have a handful of cats staying up this late to watch us, and it's always when we wrap it up, right, Zero?
Because this is not a corporate show. This is a community show. This is not about, that's not what we're doing here. We're awakening souls that have been walking this land for thousands of years. The brother that just called, he just found his path right back home.
Right.
And I'm hoping it was through hip hop. A lot of fools.
He's indigenous.
A lot of
just
fools,
like how we are indigenous too.
Yo.
I don't like how people try to say that, people who aren't from this little part of Turtle Island are not indigenous, or you're whatever, from wherever, even from Mars or whatever, like that weirdo. But I don't know.
No, you're right. Like gatekeeping, what they want, they want to gatekeep.
It was indigenous, and I think like we're all.
You said something really cool.
I mean,
You said something super cool. You said no trauma porn.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit? Just a little bit.
Well, because the song was called Fifth World Order, and I was like, what does Fifth World Order mean? Because like in the Navajo creation story, there's 4 worlds.
Is it up on Spotify or anything like that?
No. Everything I do is like, it's not,
it's just live?
I'm not on Spotify at all. It's on my own website.
Okay, cool. So we gotta,
that's a dope song.
we gotta make sure that they get aligned to your music, brother, because
It's on my website actually.
It inspired me.
And what's the website?
Randy, RANDYL BARTON Barton, RandyLBarton.com.
Nice. Yeah. I like the way you did it too. Like you can only get it on my website. That's kind of cool.
That's how I've sold beats to like Phoenix Suns, several people. I've done shit for the NFL.
Like, congratulations, brother!
And I own all the rights. They get to rent it from me.
Nice.
For a small period of time, and I haven't made money, like big money, like because I'm saving everything for this movie. But like I just made sure I owned everything.
Yeah. No. Hey, you protected yourself because that's the way you got to do this in the industry, man. The music industry was not built by nice people. It was built by criminals and thieves and drug dealers, and that's who still is there. So
yeah, but just during those stories, from the elders, I mean, they speak of a world like you're saying, like the whole 2012, like the 2012, right? And it was more of an indigenous utopia, was like what I really felt
Mhm.
with this underground hip hop at the time, because it felt very indigenous with all the turntablism, all the b-boying, like people stepping away from traditional graph and going back to even like cholo letters or like symbols.
Mhm.
People doing, graph with symbols. And that was right around like, 1999, 2000. And I just got not even my own vision. It was from the elders that told me what this utopia is supposed to look like. And I even nowadays, like I don't do gallery shows or museum shows if it's talking about the long walk or any of that shit.
Mm.
I'm like, nah, that's not my story. Like that happened in 1860, but it's like I'm trying to create a future where it's like we're up and we have big elements behind us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's a lot easier for DeFi. Now DeFi is going to make it easier for these youngins, right? They're getting paid way more than what we've got. You know what I mean? People don't even know who the fuck I am. Shit, you know what I mean? And I've been doing this shit for fucking since 85.
Yeah.
All elements. I'll battle anyone straight up. Like you see me on the floor, you see me in my graph skills. It's crazy. Like and the real heads know. That's why they're my homies. And it's like I had to go through that barbed wire and make way for someone like DeFi. And Wake and his parents both trusted me. They quit school because they just were so far ahead. Like, man, I was giving them like Behold a Pale Horse at age 14.
Believe the culture, believe the hip hop,
William
believe the
Cooper.
culture.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we just believed the culture, believed hip hop so much. It was like, no, we're just gonna go all in right away.
Straight up.
Like as a young
Yeah. No, we read Behold the Pale Horse in '94.
Thanks to a few friends like Randy, though, gave us like places to stay, places to rock and have a platform and kind of build.
And how most people get afraid, you know what I mean, or they get kind of scared, when they read that book. It was not meant for that. It was more to like understand like the way this shit was set up, and for us to really stay connected to our indigenous roots and use hip hop as a vehicle to really explode.
Which is really poetry, which is really floricanto, which is really like what the Nahuatl's called in Xochitl right? In Xochitl was just ancient poetry over drums. So this is really, I'm hearing your story and it's mirroring exactly. 96 is when I started getting into hip hop through, my good friend of mine. 99 was when I put my first album out, the Calpuli album.
Sick.
And then, 2002 to 2012, I did my El Fu project, and now I'm in my solo phase of I really like this phase of my life and my art, because it's not really focused on an album, but really focused on art, right? This is the best thing I can create right now at this point. The best writing I've ever done, the most challenging life experiences I've ever had. I've gone through a lot of things recently, and I still come to this podcast and I do what I need to do, because nothing's going to stop that, right? Whether I have a big contract, whether I have lots of money, whether I have no money, I literally have $6, but I'm still going to come and show up and do the best I can on this podcast.
Make sure you guys support, buy a t-shirt. The link is below. Comment on the video, share the video, spread the word. We got Defy in the building.
Follow Defy.
Well, thank you guys for
Follow
having
Randy
us.
B.
Thank you to Randy B. Thank you guys both for
Hey,
having
man.
us.
Look.
LA Natives podcast. Thanks for having us on as guests.
I was sitting outside at around 8:00, and then I go, that guy looks like Defy, but I don't want to say that it was Defy or not. And I go, I know the other brother too, but I didn't want to speak. And then boom, Mondo shows up, and then I go, wait, this is Defy. And then boom, we're shaking hands, and look at what kind of a podcast came out. Like we were able to kind of share and share bread, kind of in a way, without metaphorically speaking, because we're sharing our energy. We're sharing the fact that we recognize each other in our territories and where we come from, right?
It's not your typical hip hop relation, right, Zero?
No, it's an ancient. It's like this brother's talking about right here. He's talking about hip hop, right? Because that's what modern people understand the fusion of drum and poetry and crystals and fire and water and the underground and the above ground.
Yeah, like that old white man, he has no idea what hip hop is about.
That's like, it's like calculus to him. He would be like, "Well, what are you talking about?" You know,
It really is.
it's a way above his intelligence level, and this is what I mean. That indigeneity is going to save the world just because we were given the ability to communicate with grandfathers who really loved us, no matter how much trauma we went through. And I understood that trauma porn thing because we don't want to stay in a state where we're always being the victim of some atrocity that happened to us. You got to remember, we had Crazy Horse, we had Geronimo, we had Sitting Bull, we had how many other people that they didn't want to write about because they were fucking badass too.
Shout out to Bijoshi. There's a lot of us too, a lot of others.
Name some, please, because this is the moment where our community needs to hear those voices, because those voices still live inside of you. They live inside of me.
Urbano.
Well, Vonka, you said it one.
Barboncito. Yup.
See, we have heroes too. We have lots of heroes that who carelessly gave their life. You know, not carelessly. They dedicated, committed their lives to save the people, to give an example for us, so that we can carry it on for the next 7 generations, and next 7 generations at a time. Our community, our wisdom, our love, our understanding, our poetry, our music will heal Turtle Island. And that's prophecy. We'll see you next Wednesday. Tlazocamatli.